on. It's the news. All right. So
now we synced up there, Tom, and we didn't even try.
That was really nice, guys.
That was impressive.
No, I mean, that was beautiful.
would you like to sit in the middle to have some stereo?
It would have
in
been
your life?
stereo.
Yeah.
It was real mono, but it was multisyllabic. That's a not.
Her story. This is from publisher Underdog Games. I'm sorry, they're not called publisher Underdog. They're just Underdog Games.
Yes.
This Emerson Matsucci, Nick Bentley, and Danielle Reynolds. It celebrates remarkable women in history. This game is already published. So you are doing research. It's a set collection game. After 8 chapters, whoever's the highest scoring book filled with different women from history wins, and you can see some of them on there. And I don't know who all of them are. I know the middle lady is the artist.
Frida Kahlo.
Right behind her is Judge Ruth
Bader Ginsburg.
You
got Malala to Frida Kahlo's left.
I don't know who the lady in the front is with the white hair.
Is that Jane Goodall, maybe?
It sure
Maybe.
looks like her.
Okay,
yeah.
All right, well, I guess then I need to play this game so I would know these names.
Yeah, I think this is a cool theme, a very cool theme. This publisher has been known for the trekking games. I know that you and I both have liked those. And
I didn't realize it was the same publisher.
Yeah. So this is the first game outside of that one.
Productions.
Always, yeah.
Yeah, this box, when I saw this, I thought it was a smaller game, but it's a Ticket to Ride size box. So.
Yeah, I believe it's the same box size as their other games. So.
All right, well, if you're one of those people who likes to go to Japan to collect games no one else has, AEG is bringing them here to you. And let's go Japan.
Let's go to Japan.
Let's go to Japan. I'm sorry, you're right.
Let's go Japan.
Well, that's what they shout at the soccer games. But
okay.
This is from Josh Wood, who's probably best known for Cat Lady.
Yeah, probably, right?
So this is his dream vacation he's always wanted to do. So over 13 rounds, you're getting activity cards and putting them in a calendar.
I can tell you.
Okay, that was very confusing. I thought you meant they were literally bringing games over from Japan.
I'm sorry. Well, they are actually.
Game thematically about going to Japan and bringing things from Japan.
Okay, so maybe my intro was very confusing. Let's restart. There's a new game about wanting to go to Japan by Josh Wood.
It's called Let's Go Japan. With Tokyo Game Market going on right now, I actually would. Yes. I would very much love to. Like this is speaking to me because I think that I would love to do that one day. Go to Japan for the Tokyo. Well, I wouldn't want to go there for the game market. You want to
go there for that and to add some time around that.
I would not send anyone there for that currently, just because
it's only a 2-day
so far and it's so short.
Japan is a very expensive country to visit.
But that would be a bucket list thing. I'd love to do that at some point.
Yeah, but there was a line of games from AEG that were about like games from Japan. I forget what it was called, but it was something like made in Japan. It was a little line.
That's right. I forgot about that.
And they also had that line called 5-minute fun.
Yeah.
None of which were 5 minutes, by the way, and it was a very ill-advised title.
Were they fun?
Yeah, they were like, it'd say, like, the line was literally called 5-minute fun. Then you look at the back and it'd say 1 to 4 players, 20 minutes. I'm like, are you admitting your game is only fun for 5 minutes?
That's right, yeah. So the other 15 minutes are complete drudgery. Yeah,
pure filler.
Have either of you been to Japan before?
No.
No.
I've heard of it.
Yes. Sorry, yes.
You have been to Japan, okay.
I just went for one day. Well, I was changing my visa from Korea, so I don't want to make it sound like I've been in Japan. Just one day.
All right.
So cool, Tom. You're so cool.
This next game is one I want. Jenga KoolAid Man.
Oh, yeah!
What? Okay, explain this to me.
This is coming from the op.
Yeah.
The delicate block stacking and dismantling game is paired up with the reckless yet refreshing Pitcher of Destruction. You have to, basically, you're just rolling a die and pulling whatever color the die tells you to pull.
Okay.
I believe there was already a game that did that.
But there should be like the KoolAid Man figure like they have in the Funkoverse.
I got one right there, baby.
There we go. So they should have something like this in the game, so that at any given point, if you roll the KoolAid Man, you just take him and you smash him through the blocks of Jenga.
But you have to say the catchphrase.
Oh yeah!
I still always
my KoolAid Man always ends up sounding like Randy Macho Mad Savage too.
I always wondered like the point of the KoolAid Man because, like, he smashes things. He's also made of glass. You know.
He is. I don't think you should look too deep into the philosophical.
Right. There's a lot of things that happened in the '80s that are probably best not thought about too hard.
Let's not even think about the Hamburglar. That's another whole thing I can't even.
All right. Another solitaire game. Orchard, the 9-card solitaire game, which it feels like was deliberately made to get confused with Grove.
Well, Orchard came first, right? That was the first
Grove
in this
is the
line.
new one.
No, Grove is the second one.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's a new one called Forage.
Yeah, which apparently we don't have a picture of, but I guess this is going to be like a line.
Let me spoil it for you. It looks mostly white. It has a big tree where the O goes in what's the word?
Forage.
Forage. And there's some little fruits on it, and the font is that font.
I really don't like that because I could easily see myself going to the store, seeing the cover, and going, "Oh, I already have this." Those covers are too similar.
So, what are your thoughts then on like something like
Valeria?
No,
I got thoughts.
I know you've voiced those thoughts.
Top 3 Valeria games.
I could do it.
I don't know.
Like the Sprawlopolis. Now, because there's now like 2 or 3 in that line too.
Well, no, there's just 2. Sprawlopolis and a grip.
There's a new one. There's a new one that just was on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Was there? I missed that.
I don't know what it was called.
I can't remember what it was.
The combination was Combopolis,
but yeah.
honestly, it's just the same game.
It kind of is.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Are these compatible?
I don't know. I've only played Orchard. I haven't played Grove. It's just like a little card game where you take dice and place them on top of the cards to represent fruits. If
I'll take it back. They're fine.
It's just a solo game. Yeah. I mean, it's just a little puzzle game.
I'm good. I'm good
walk
with it.
Back.
I am walking it back. I don't want to get yelled at, so I like it. All right. Artemis is making a print and play roll and write title. Because if you've made a board game and you haven't made a roll and write of that game, shame on you.
I agree. What are you doing?
Come on, everyone's doing it. Jump in.
This is another thing you were just talking about. You've got Artemis Project, and then they rethemed an old Foodie game, Bruno Foodie game, into an Artemis game.
Yeah, Artemis something, which used to be at Astra.
Right. And now you've got this, which
Artemis
is a print-on-demand type of a thing.
Right.
But you can get it right now. Great Gamers Guild.
Used to be Yahtzee.
GreatGamersGuild.com, $5.
The one thing that throws me,
like that.
Yeah, the one thing that throws me is the time on it, though. An hour-long roll and write. I mean, that's a pretty. There are some of those now. You know, there's some heavier, longer roll and writes, but that's a little surprising.
And it's 1 to 5 as opposed to like 1 or more. 1 to 99.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
All right, and Board Game Company's continuing quest to make my stocking the library a pain in the neck. There's a new big box coming because why not? So this is for this popular game that you can see in your screen.
What's it called?
Tehuahuacan.
City of Gods. You know what? I played this game many times, actually. I like this game a lot. I've never played the expansions.
I've not either, because in the box itself, in the base box, there's so much modularity to it. As a matter of fact, I almost have never gone beyond the pre-printed start with this stuff on the box. I don't think I've needed to, right?
Now, that being said, if they had like a small expansion that was like more research tiles, I'm sure these are fine expansions.
Sure.
It's just that this excites me a little less just because I'm finding more and more I'm pretty happy with the base games of so many games.
Yeah. They had a mock-up of the deluxe box at Essen. I don't know if you saw it behind the glass there. It was, I don't know if it's going to be to scale of what it actually is, but it looks like another one of those big cube boxes.
So many. I also will say that I don't think that artwork's bad on this new box cover.
No.
But I like the original box. I think I like that better. This new one doesn't give me that whole ziggurat, which is the main focus of the game.
It's back there somewhere.
It's back there. I don't know. I maybe.
That looks like a cliff in Arizona.
No, there's scaffolding around it.
That's a cliff being built in Arizona.
That's not how cliffs get built.
Why? How did they get built?
By time and pressure.
Yeah, I don't know. I like that. I like that cover. I don't have any issue with that.
No, it's pyramids, not ziggurats. What's a ziggurat?
It's a stepped pyramid.
Steeped, you mean?
All right, 0 to 100. We've already talked about this, I think, in the past, but it's coming to English.
Okay.
Which I'm glad
this looks
for.
Familiar. Have we played this?
We talked about it. You get 6 question cards. Each has an answer from 0 to 100. And there's a 50 card in the middle. You have to pick a question with an answer closest to 50. So you're trying, it's kind of a riff on the timeline type things.
Okay. Are there actual answers to these things? Or?
Yeah, I think so. That's a trivia question.
I do like that tagline a lot. I think that's very clever.
The general knowledge game for the generally unknowledgeable.
I think that's clever.
I like the cover on that with all the stuff thrown
Aren't
at the
most
target.
trivia games like geared towards this now?
Yeah,
though?
because they don't want to make people feel stupid. Like, I mean,
well,
it's solving.
Luck, okay?
It's trying to solve the Trivial Pursuit problem, right?
It is. Where that's either you know it or you don't know it. There is no gray zone.
Right.
And then many trivia games after that let you try to get close.
Yeah, like the Freedom and Freeze ones. Those are really good, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, this next game is called Fur, but it's not spelled the way you might think. And I'm actually looking this up online to see if
Because
this
of a tree, Tom.
man.
Not fur as in an animal pelt. Fur as in a tree.
You know what it is? I've never seen the word without the word tree behind it.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. Out of context, it would probably be a little bit.
I looked it up and I was like, oh, duh. Right as you said it.
So from what I can tell, this is like very, very early. It hasn't gone to crowdfunding, which I assume it will, but it's news in that this designer is known for kind of that one game feudum that is a very... People that like it are pretty passionate about it, but it's a very, very heavy Euro game. I played it a few times.
The crazy cover one, right?
Yeah, it had some production issues, I thought, but it was a beautiful aesthetic and art, but so complicated.
It's ranked pretty highly on Board Game Geek,
Yeah.
631, but there is a lot of dissenters. I am one of them, especially since I think this game is, we're talking about Feudum,
yeah.
it's fairly incomprehensible when you're first coming in.
Yeah, I agree.
The board
Very
doesn't
tough.
help. There's a lot of production issues. There's some really cool ideas in it, especially with the guilds.
Yeah.
This looks like he took the template from that. The board is the exact same.
Yeah.
There's more pieces in this one.
This one looks even
I
more, yeah.
Very cautious on this one, but hey, I also not going to worry about it until 2024.
Right,
It's
right,
crowding funding next year, and then coming out the year after that.
Right.
Miller Zoo. Somebody found like a quote of mine from way back when I was talking about a zoo game. And I was like, why are there not more zoo games? 2022 Time says, oh, there's enough zoo games. But I still don't mind this theme. I like zoo.
Yeah, and I think this is an actual zoo that has partnered.
It's in Quebec.
Excuse me.
And it's a zoo that's it's like a wildlife rehabilitation center for abandoned and rescued animals.
Right.
That's cool. So a cooperative game based off of that. That's a neat idea.
Yeah, it's cool that they're using an actual zoo, that they partnered with a real place.
Right.
And are utilizing that as a way to just both have a very true to life theme and spread awareness of this place.
It seems like this is a really good theme to pair with a cooperative game, conservation type themes, endangered, the spill, animals are not animals. It just seems you're all working towards a common cause, you know what I mean? It makes sense.
All right, well, let's go back nostalgia to, what is it? Up, down, left, right, left, right.
Yeah.
Select start. Contra, the board game. Did you ever play Contra?
No.
Have you?
I did, yeah, for sure.
It's one of the hardest. It's one of the hardest video games I've ever played. You run through and you're just shooting at stuff, but you get so easy to get shot. So
I think I played the actual arcade machine of this.
Oh, did the code work on that? I don't think
so. No.
But the code gave you what, 99 lives
Something
or
like
something?
that, and you needed all
And
of
I
them.
still couldn't beat the game with all those lives.
Yeah.
And Mega Man, of course, that's much more popular. That one has had a longer
yeah.
thing.
And
Anyway, both of these games are coming from Blacklist Games. And they're both rolling out to stores, which I'm a little surprised about because Blacklist has had a lot of problems.
And I think that's kind of the story here, is that these have been announced and whatever for years. I think literally, and I think now they're coming to retail. There was quite a bit of controversy around the fulfillment, the crowdfunding. Are they or aren't they going to fulfill? But it looks like now, if they're going to retail, I have to assume they've gone to backers. I don't know though.
I am curious about these, but I am cautious because Blacklist games tend to be difficult to learn how to play.
I played a very early version of Contra, and that version was not terribly complex. I don't know if it, changed over time.
Oddly enough, the designers of these games are no longer designing board games.
Well, just of Contra. Mega Man is a different design team.
Oh, you're right. Mega Man's the designers of Contra. Neither one of them. One dropped out about a year or a half ago, and the other dropped out last week.
Yeah.
So I hope there's not a lot of rules questions.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, they're pretty good about that stuff, though.
they probably would still answer
Yeah,
it, but they're neither one's designing board games anymore.
Yep.
All right, Tour de France. Do not use drugs to to win this race.
You're going the steroids route. I got you.
No, look, if that's one thing I've learned in the last 10 years.
That's the only thing you think of when you think of the Tour de France.
Well, honestly,
Yes.
no. For like 15 years, if you said Tour de France, I thought Lance Armstrong. I really did.
What do you think, Matt?
I think it's because we're American.
Steroids.
I think it's because we're American. I think
That's
around
true.
the world,
That's true. And I know it's the most famous bike race in the world, and it's cool that there's a game coming out about it.
The few times I've watched coverage of the Tour de France, it's been very interesting, but just incomprehensible to me. Like, I don't understand
It's
the terminology. Well, even if it's American commentators, I don't understand it. And they'll, closing down the streets, and I don't know. It's very cool, but I don't get it.
It's a thing. It's a big, big thing.
All right. Next, we have, again, going back for nostalgia, Judge Dredd. Mike, you know a little bit about this game?
I know nothing about this game because this is not the one that Osprey put out, which was basically a riff on Wildlands. This is a 40-year-old Ian Livingstone game that they are redoing some things and re-releasing.
That's the crazy part to me.
Yeah.
I saw this, I came across it, and it's got a really cool retro look.
It really
but
does, yeah.
That's because it's an old game, decades old, being not just re-released, but they are apparently
doing some
tightening
stuff.
up a little bit of what's going on in it. This has me really curious. I love Judge Dredd as a comic book. I love the property, and I'd never heard of this game before. I don't think it's one that was necessarily that popular. Maybe over here.
I heard of it
Yeah.
in in the 80s, 90s, because it was in those, little. Sometimes it'd be in one of those little advertising things.
Gotcha.
I don't know.
Really cool.
Ian Livingstone is one of the titans of gaming, mostly known on the other side of the pond.
Sure.
I mean, he's a special guest at UK Games Expo almost every year. Very nice person, very much. But he's also designed before we learned a lot about board games. That's not a knock on him, but this was, again, 40 years ago.
Different time, yeah.
I don't know. I'm hoping that this is revamped. Other than that, I think it's one of those games, if they haven't done much with it, I think it's a game I'd play, go, nostalgia, I don't want to play it anymore.
I do like the look of the board, though, I have to say. It's very striking.
Who's the law?
I am the law.
All right, I think the rest of our news here
Almost all.
almost all the rest of our news is yellow. So we're going to quickly go through these. First, we have Helton Palace. This is a two-player game where you're running a hotel for demonic guests, but demonic guests beat up the room. They leave the room a mess. So eventually your hotel is going to collapse. And you're trying to make your hotel collapse after the other player.
This looks like a classic yellow cover, doesn't it?
It really does.
You look at that cover, you're like, that's a yellow game.
It
looks good. I like that.
It looks and sounds almost like the feel of the old Cosmos two-player games. So we'll see. Cheese Master. This is coming out at the beginning of next year. You roll some dice in this game, and based on what is rolled, you grab that much cheese. So you would hate this.
Yeah.
So if you roll 4 cheese, you grab cheese, but if there's 2 mice, 2 and 4 cheese, the 2 mice eat the cheese, but if you roll a cat, the cat eats the mouse, which doesn't then eat the cheese. It's that style game. I messed with it a few times. And I'm like, oh, I like the math, but I could see some people going,
It's a quick game. It's like a quick grab kind of game. Yeah, no, I'm immediately out.
I'm really excited about the King of Tokyo stuff.
Yeah.
These are micro expansions. So me and Zee were laughing about this yesterday with the King of Tokyo stuff, where you can add another monster to the game and it means nothing, and yet people go out of their way to buy new monsters.
Sure.
This stuff, though, I think is more meaningful. So this Baby Gigazar is another monster, but has the power-up cards.
Right.
And then even more wicked, adds the extra rules from King of Tokyo After Dark. Not After Dark.
Dark Edition.
Dark Edition. King of Tokyo After Dark. Very different game.
It's a much different game.
Coming to you at Spencer's.
Right.
No, but King of Tokyo Dark Edition had a rule that basically if you rolled a bunch of 1s and 2s, you got some extra stuff. And
Yeah, there was a track down the side that you would level up on, and you would earn abilities. That track was only in that edition. It's now this box, so that you can add it to regular King of Tokyo.
It's interesting. The one on the left is clearly a European version, where the one on the right is a American version.
Why?
You notice the difference here? It's subtle. Huh?
The King of Tokyo eats a lot more. The big one, so he's fatter.
There's a clear clue on there. You can put
Extension, expansion.
There you go. Extension, expansion.
Great. Anyhow,
I think that's interesting.
Mike is
That's news, folks.
He's an eagle-eyed animal.
That's right.
And it's not an eagle animal.
from what I understand, this whole micro expansion thing is going to become a thing with yellow. At least they're not called yellow.
This one's not in English.
This one's not in English. There's your first clue. Yeah. Also, it's Diamant. There's your second clue.
I don't know if this one's coming to America, and this is one that I might buy because it has a few little modules and small things at the Diamant. And when he explained it to me, I thought I wouldn't want to play with those all the time.
Sure.
But like just a little, this round, when you run out, you don't keep gems.
Yeah.
You know, unless you're the only person to run out or whatever. You know, just minor changes. I like that. And then there was also a third card that let you steal from someone else at some point. That I was less interested in. But the idea of the rule changes for this round,
cool. Yeah.
I'm interested in that.
Yeah,
this one could stand to have a couple extra rules.
Yeah, and this is one I can see you may have to import because you still have to import Diamant. You can't get Diamant here without importing it. So.
But the micro expansion that everyone's been asking for is this next one.
Oh, yeah.
Zee, I know that you have always wanted to add a train to Bunny Kingdom.
Right.
That's really been the main thing missing from Bunny Kingdom. When I think bunnies, I think, well...
Bunnies on a train?
Yeah, thank you.
That's the sequel to Snakes on a Plane.
I'll probably try this, but my word, what?
What is the thing? They don't have the little box cover?
I don't know if the cover has been...
Yeah, but see the little tracks there?
Yeah, I see them.
So that's what it is. You're going to put tracks on the board, and I guess whoever's next to the most tracks is the sheriff, and they go first in turn order, which matters a lot. And also, who cares?
Also, why?
Because money. All right.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. The others all sound good.
Last from Yellow, Foodie Forest. This is a retheming of Reiner Knizia's Too Many Cooks.
Too many cooks, too many cooks.
That is a cool cover. I like that.
I do like the cover.
I don't remember Too Many Cooks. I might have played that one, and I don't recall it.
I was thinking the same thing. It's one that I looked at and I'm like, maybe I played this, maybe I didn't. I don't remember, you know.
It is cool that they are starting a new card line.
Yeah.
Yellow is doing these boxes now. It's a brand new series they're starting. Yellow cards with this frame, this look. I'm not sure what size this will be, but you might have seen some of these. I'm assuming smaller, like more shallow and taller than the previous magnetic squares.
Right. I think they're doing Dwarf King in this
and
line,
they're putting, Dwarf King, which was released in those magnetic boxes.
He told me that, and I said I was glad for that, but man, I like the little magnetic boxes.
Yeah.
No, you're wrong. You know how many pacemakers went kaput because of those? None.
All right, and our last piece of news, Vagrant Song is getting an expansion.
Just a scenario, little mini thing.
The Seance scenario. This is coming out December. This is just a scenario where you're fighting the Fox sisters.
Zee and I got it at Gen Con. They had a limited number at Gen Con. And Zee and I were both able to get a copy of it there.
We're real gamers.
I have not played the scenario yet.
Why was I not told of this?
Because we're real gamers.
Actually, I think there is. I thought there was one in the library too. Like I thought we got an extra one for the library.
Maybe there is. I don't know. Well, I don't remember putting it in. So I feel like I would have.
It's supposedly a pretty complex one. Like it's not one to do. You know, you should do it after you've played a bit and Right. So haven't tried it yet.
They've done a few of these sort of little extra bits and pieces that they've come out with, which is lovely. I'm glad that they're supporting the game this way.
Mm-hmm.
Me too. Not just sort of putting it out and forgetting about it, but keeping up with it.
Yes.
Well, there you go, folks. That is the news.